why there is no in between. This ain't my scene, I beg my leave. My face ain't clean, this is just me. Some ways I lean, escaping green. I state my dream, not in between. This ain't my scene, I beg my leave. My face ain't clean, this is just me. Some ways I lean, escaping green. No in between.
This is just me. A sound, a style, a groove, a rhythm.
No in between.
I know you have to say what you're different. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I'm gone. I'm gone. So this is just me. It's a sound, it's a style, it's a groove, it's a rhythm. No in between. I know you have to say what you're different. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I'm 1 minute, then I'm
Just me, there's no in between. So
This is just me. A sound, a style, a groove, a rhythm. No in between. I know you have to say what you're given.
Hello.
Hi, Facebook friends! Sorry, guys, that's me just getting confused with the DJ work in the background. But yeah, so today is going to be a really fun one. I think that's why it was meant to happen. You know, we're authentically us in this tribe. So, yeah, welcome to the Coffee Shop Conversation Show. And today I am so excited to introduce to you the one and only wonderful wizard of HR all the way from Canada. Teresa, I think it's like 1 a.m. in the morning for you at the moment. Like
4
and
a.m.
you're here with us and you got your little fire going, you got your cup of tea, not coffee, but
Tea, yes.
because you still got up at just like at 4 a.m. just to be here with us on the Coffee Shop Show. We're so excited, Teresa. Welcome.
Thank you. I couldn't miss it. I'm so excited about this. After watching Linda's last week, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome.
Awesome. And we just love your ambience. We love your little fire. Oh, it's so cool. You did promise me you would bring your hat, right?
I have my hat.
Yay! That's the best part.
I couldn't find the Harry Potter wand. I have a wand, but I don't know. I think it's in my son's keepsakes box hidden in storage. So I wanted to bring that today, but I'm just going to have to do magic with just like this.
That's amazing. That is amazing. It's bigger than all of us have. Like, so I can see all the tribe members. They're like smiling right now. Hearts are going up all over. They're here to support you. And we're all jealous of your hat, so don't worry. So Teresa, I think let's get going. So you've been with the tribe for a while. So our tribe members have slowly gotten to know you and see how fun you are and how knowledgeable you are, like about HR and everything else, like human resources related. Can you just tell our fans out there that's maybe meeting you for the first time right now, what is it that you offer in business?
Well, for the past 8 years, my company has offered consulting to businesses that Usually they don't have an HR department. So I would go in and I would help them with whatever it is they need, whether it's recruitment or difficult conversations to start up their performance management plans, or possibly even terminations, which happen sometimes, and a lot of people feel uncomfortable with it. And because I'm not usually known to the employees, it's pretty easy for me to come in and, well, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, I still have a heart, but it's a lot easier for me because I'm separated from the entire situation, and I can come in and help with the dismissals. And when COVID hit, I made a shift because I couldn't go into offices anymore to, I thought, well, I'll just try and offer online. But I was finding it's difficult because you have that disconnect. You're not in the office. Like some of my clients, I would be right in, they would have an office in there for me, and I would go in for a couple hours, you know, once or twice a week. But that's not the case anymore. So I decided I have to really think about how I'm going to be able to offer more for my clients and still be able to get my expertise out there so that they're not feeling so lost or insecure or, you know, have this lack of confidence. So I thought, okay, well, can I make an online program? Like, is that a thing? Right? So I started doing some research, and there were some things like that out there that HR professionals provide, little bits and pieces. Like they have templates that you can download. And sometimes with those templates, they'll give you, you know, maybe 10 hours of consulting, or they'll do just, yeah, bits and pieces. And I just wanted to give a small business an all-encompassing HR so that they have access to templates, they learn from me, they have access to me. How can I do that? So I hired a coach and I took her training, and it really, really helped me see if there was a need for it, see who exactly my ideal clients are, and what my program could look like. And lo and behold, there's a need for it. There is, yeah, I couldn't believe it. So now I'm actually launched my course this week, and I have great members. They're part of my company is called Key HR Services. So they're part of a key community that we have. It's a private community where we can, you know, you can post a question if you want, and that's lifetime access. So we can help each other as a community. They take an 8-week course with me, learning everything about HR, mindset, research and deduction, and everything you need to know. And then we have weekly calls, group calls, where if you have a specific question and you actually want to see me in person, we have those as well. So, and so far this week, it's went off without a problem. So I'm pretty excited.
That is so amazing. I mean, like if you were like when you said like you hired a coach, and one of the things you would wanted to figure out if is there a need for it, Teresa, where have you been all my life? I'm an accountant. Do you know how difficult it is to put together, one, to find the right person? Like, I'm not even going to go there. It's like, I don't know how they do it. Like, I really don't. Two, to get that contract so that it actually like states what it's supposed to state. It must be watertight. It must be clear. It must be, you know, by the time I'm done trying to adjust that free template that I found online, like, I'm done. It's just not happening. So I think there is actually such a huge need for you, especially with you know, what's happening just like in the entrepreneurial industry as a whole, with people having to work remotely, having to have remote teams. You know, I mean, this week we hired a freelancer from Ghana. Like, we have people from all over the world in our team, and to manage those people and to find the right people, and I think what you're offering is just magical, to be honest. And I can see Exactly. Exactly. And I can see like Dawid, even Dawid from Entrepreneur's Life magazine is saying, wow, it's such an amazing service. Like he's blown away. Like why hasn't someone done this before? It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, and you know, it's so interesting to me. I feel the same way as Dawid, is that I have now looking back, I'm thinking to myself, why didn't I do this from the beginning? Why did it take, and the reason I actually got into consulting in the first place is because when I was in the corporate world, the CEO that I worked for, he kept coming to me. He was part of this executive group, and it was a bunch of small businesses that didn't have an HR department, I guess. And they would ask him, because we were a little bit of a larger group and I was the department head. And so they would ask him questions, and he would come to me and he'd say, I've got this one executive, small business owner, he's asking questions, what should he do? And so I would share, and I'm thinking, wow, there's really a need for this. And so when we parted ways, I thought I should check it out and see if I get any bites. And yeah, I never had an issue with my company. I never had like dull moments or times where I had a loss. And so I was really lucky that way, but it was because there was a need, and that's just locally, that's just within my city. I can't even imagine globally, what people need. What I'm starting to learn is I've been kind of nervous about expanding this program beyond Canada, but what I'm learning is the programs sound identical across the world. I'm following a lot of other HR professionals around the world, and it sounds pretty much the same. Like when you talk about contracts, there may be laws that are a little bit different that you could probably tweak per country, but for what I have to offer and to empower employers to feel confident and knowledgeable in HR, that part is easy. And then they have access to me, and I can teach them how to research the right information. And I just keep saying to myself, my goodness, like it had to take COVID for me to see that this is such an easier way, because, well, not only that, when I've been thinking about it, and the clients that I've had for the length of my company, they still haven't, because it's always so reactive. So they call me when they need this, or they call me when they need that. They call me when they want me to build a program, or they have a termination, or they need help with recruitment. It's so reactive that not once have any of my clients received the entire offering that HR has. And now with this program, in 8 weeks, they have everything, and they've learned how to implement it and use it, instead of 8 years and still not having everything. So it just makes sense.
Something that really stuck out for me, and I think this is what a lot of entrepreneurs and business professionals are struggling with, was that you mentioned that when you were stepping from a face-to-face arena to a virtual arena, that there was that gap that you didn't quite understand, yet you approached a business coach. What were the benefits of that for you? Because obviously you needed some sense of direction, or what was your experience in that regard?
Okay, well, there's two parts to that, actually. When I first started my business, I was part of this women's networking group, and this lady stood up, and she was so magnetic, and her business was called Magnetic Business Solutions. And I just gravitated to her, and I had to meet her. So I walked over and I said, tell me more. And she says, I just help small businesses get started. And she's a business coach. And I said, I think I need to hire you, because I've been winging it all this time. I've got a business plan, but I don't even know for sure if it works. And she was literally the best thing that I could have ever done at that time. She helped me so much with the beginning processes of my business, and we still keep in touch whenever she moved away, but whenever we can connect, we help each other out. And then I thought this time around, I need coaching again. And I knew the benefit of it. I knew how much it helped me with really understanding how to connect with people. I learned all about networking. I learned so much. But this time I needed to learn how to do an online course. Like this is a whole different
Ball game.
Oh my goodness, totally different ball game. So I was just searching around on the internet, and there's this one lady that I follow who seems to really know what she's doing. And so I connected with her. But at the time I could not afford her. I was like, she's got a premium program, and I so badly want to use her, but I couldn't afford her. So I looked for something a little bit cheaper, but at the same time still be able to offer something, the same thing. And she also, I gravitated, it's that magnetic connection you have to have, right? Somebody that somebody that really just catches your eye, and you just know. And so she was another one. And so I took her program. And she offers the same kind of setting where she has weekly calls. She's available to you in a group setting. One time I had to personally message her because I was really not getting it. And she responded like, no problem. And she has thousands of clients. And so I really liked that platform. I really learned a lot about how to properly introduce a new all-in-one program that nobody has. Like, especially because this one, I feel like it's unprecedented. I can't really find anybody else who does, like, offers the whole package. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she's really, really helped in that manner. And I think that I probably I wouldn't be as far ahead as I am right now if I didn't hire somebody to help me with that piece. I really truly believe that what people have to offer in the world, there's always something that you can use. And, if you have the means to do it, just go ahead and do it, because it's so worth it in the end.
I really like that. And the reason I actually asked is because I really wanted to highlight the fact, is because we've been through exactly the same process. And without the correct coach, you just don't go as far as what you can go.
And he actually just commented in the chat. He says, Stephen Levy from Day to Be Coaching, Teresa, he said, as a coach, I love you. Exclamation mark. You see the value in coaching, so thank you so much. I think you basically just did an advert for all our business coaches.
There you go. Yeah, I gotta take this off. It's getting warm in here with the fire. Yeah, I do. If you're, I got kisses. I'm blushing now. Yeah, I do. Like, I think that if you're starting, and not even if you're starting out, I mean, there are times when there's different stages in your business, whether you're just a startup or you've been in it for quite some time and you need to just take that next level and you're not quite sure. Like, for me, I am definitely going to need a coach when I decide to go global. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to try and do that famous saying, why reinvent the wheel when there's people out there who can help you along and that have gone through it.
Why write your own freaking contract, like struggling for 2 weeks on end because you know nothing about employment contracts? If you can just listen to the HR wizard for a few minutes and she'll tell you exactly how to do it.
Yeah, and you have a good point. And sometimes when I hear that, it does scare me, because when people download things from the internet, unless you actually know, like, unless you've done the research and you know where this contract is coming and you know how to read legal jargon, it could harm a company more than it can do good. So you really have to be careful. Even I have some great companies that I know that if I needed to download a legal contract, I would download it, but I still get a lawyer to review it. Mm-hmm. After I've done my own work on it, I'll still get a quick review to say, is there anything that needs to be changed here? And if I don't feel comfortable with those services, I will call a lawyer and just get it, or an HR consultant. There's a lot of HR consultants out there who have the knowledge in the legal field and employment law that could help as well.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like when I think about how many companies out there go straight to the lawyer, and in Canadian dollars, our lawyers here cost, $500 to $600 an hour. And, you don't always need to, and sorry for the lawyers out there who are watching, but, I've even had conversations with other lawyers to say, let's bridge that gap. They don't specialize in employee policy manuals, not all of them. Some of them do, but they prefer not to work on that. They prefer to work on the legal advice and all the things that come with legislation and common law. So we can bridge that gap to, not make sure that they're coming to us first before they have to go to the lawyer. And I think that's
Teresa? Our tribe's lawyer, she's called Ines Esmeralda. She would actually adore you right now. She would be so thankful, because I find I learned this lesson the hard way 3 times. I had to learn it 3 times. And each time, when if it goes fabulous, fantastic. But let's be honest, like, we're working with humans. The chances of things going 100% correct is basically not, right? Like, even if it goes 90% correct, there's still like a 10% chance. So each time when it goes wrong, I end up in her office, and the first thing she asks for is the contract. And every time it's like, you know what? Okay, so the first time you're gonna kill me. There wasn't a contract. There was a
That's
word
pretty
of
common.
mouth. Yeah, there was a word of mouth. Don't do that, guys. Please don't do that. Do Teresa's course. You need it. The second time there was a contract, but I had written it from scratch, and it was missing so many crucial points. She basically couldn't work with it at all. And the third time there was a contract, but it was from a template, and I had messed it up so badly with mine, because I'm an accountant, I'm hard-headed. Like, I have contract law 1. I took it for a year. So I'm like, I know I can do contracts. Sure, what type of contract would you like? And I can't do contracts. Teresa, I can't, and I shouldn't be doing my own employees' contract. So I think that is so valuable. And I think even for the attorneys out there, collaboration is so hot right now. Like, I read a post from our newest member this morning, from James Lamb, and I think the post said something about achieving your 7-figure income. The difference between achieving it in 1 year and 17 years is collaboration. That it said something like that. And so if you're an attorney out there and you're watching this right now, you need to get in touch with the HR wizard, because why focus on what you need to focus where your time is best spent. Let's be honest, we in entrepreneurship to make money. So
well, exactly. And I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer. When I need legal advice and support, I'm going to go to a lawyer. And I do have a legal background, which does help me quite a bit. That's how I started my career. And then I jumped into human resources. But, there are so many things. And even for lawyers, they all have their different specialties. Some are in employment law, some are in corporate law, real estate law. And, even them, if I were to go to an employment lawyer and say, hey, I need to trademark my company, they're going to refer me to, a copyright or a trademark lawyer. They're not going to keep me with themselves. And it's the same in this situation. So it goes both ways, where, the lawyers that I'm connected with, if they need somebody to, if they've noticed that there are some big gaps in one of their clients' needs, they'll send them my way to get their programs in place: performance management, succession planning, onboarding, recruitment, offboarding, all of that kind of stuff. And we collaborate together, we work together, and that, obviously the more people you have in your community, the more synergy there is, and the better experience the client has. when you have those people that you can work with and connect with.
It seems to me that you are such a crucial step to make everything run smoothly. Yet it's a step that everybody seems to be missing. And it's only calling you when you are necessary, instead of being, reactive, being proactive, and actually stepping into that space, which is actually something that you're offering. So you are offering for companies to be proactive.
Exactly. That is exactly right.
I love that.
And I mean, that has been one of my mantras for probably 20 years, over 20 years, to be proactive. I've always run that way. I believe that, if you do it right the first time, you don't have to worry about, like, you can just worry about the smaller things later, rather than just winging it in the beginning and then having like just a big tumbleweed, or, snowball in my case, full of just, things that you have to correct and fix. And then you just take the thing that, the biggest snowball out there, to deal with first, and the other ones can just go to the side until they start to, make issues. So I totally believe in that proactive way of thinking. And, I was just thinking of something when you said that, but I've lost it. So maybe it'll come back.
Well, something I learned very early on in life was, if you're going to do something, do it right the first time. So, if people are out there and they are starting their businesses and they're not too sure which way to go, understand the process. And the process does involve HR. It's not like you can work around it, or try and download contracts, or try and it's a step that is so necessary to make your company run so smoothly and avoid those potholes in the road.
That can kill a startup.
That can literally kill a startup. So,
well, I totally agree with you. Actually, I think it might be on my LinkedIn profile. I can't remember where it is, but I that's actually my main mantra is, if it doesn't feel right, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right. And you could even add a piece to that. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it, and find the people who know how to do it. I guess you should add to that.
In the right place.
Awesome.
And I think the reason for that, especially with HR, is because we are really truly a department that's in their infancy. So if you look at accounting or law or other departments that have been around for thousands and thousands of years, human resources started out as personnel administration in the early 1900s. Like, we're barely 100 years old. And so that's the reason why you see a lot of people being reactive. It's because it's still so unknown to so many people. There's so many times I get people who say, "Oh, you're an HR consultant. Oh, so you're a recruiter." Because that's the only thing that they can connect HR with, is recruitment, because that's the only thing they know. They don't know that there's like 10 other facets to HR. And, we do recruitment, and then we have a whole bunch of facets under retention, and we have attraction, which has like 4 different areas, and retention that has another 7, and then we also help with offboarding, right? So we really truly are this large offering that people don't know until, like you said, Peter, until you become reactive and you go, who do I need to talk to? I have this employee who, really isn't fitting in the mold. I don't know what to do with them. Where do I go? Right? And unless they have experienced that, they really don't know. I mean, granted, I would say the past 10 to 20 years, you see people really understanding HR a lot more. But it's still really foreign to a lot of people. They really aren't sure what it is, what it means, what we do. And I actually have this saying that if you don't know what your HR department does, it's kind of a good thing because a lot of things we deal with is confidential. So if you know what we're doing, we're not doing our job.
My viewpoint on HR is literally that HR can be the backbone to your company. It's there to support you. So if you want to run a spineless operation, then don't have an HR department, but then suffer being spineless.
Yeah, enjoy that.
Enjoy that.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. I would, yeah.
It has to be powerful because I think people need to understand that HR is so crucial, and they're missing it. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's people, right? Human resources. If you have people, you know, to make sure that you have a good people and culture within your people culture, within your organization, you need to have, and the thing is I see a lot of companies that are doing really, really well in HR. They have a lot of programs, they have a lot of things, they were proactive, but they skip one or two steps. For instance, they could have an amazing performance management program, awesome training and development, but they don't have a succession plan in place for their employees. So they could possibly be developing the wrong individuals, people who don't actually want to be managers. But here they are setting them up for a managerial position in the future. So a succession plan is key,
that's
right?
a mistake that'll kill you. Like, yeah, I've seen that, like picking the wrong person for the right position or whatever you call it, that will kill a business.
Yeah, and not just, you know, when you're recruiting somebody into the position, but you don't stop recruiting at that point. Once they've been there for some, they just, you know, they're superstars within 6 months, you know, they're going to be, you know, they're going to be a lead in some way, but you're recruiting them internally for the next position or for growth laterally. If it's not, you know, there's so many different things that you have to do. And without a succession plan in place, you're missing a major step. And this is what we see a lot of, is there are pieces that are missing. There's a lot of companies that don't have a performance management program or succession planning or training and development. They're missing the major part of keeping your employees engaged, right? Yeah. So that, you know, these are the things that, and the reason they're missing them, a lot like what I just told you earlier, is because they're being reactive and they're meeting needs as they come. So all of these clients that I've had over the past 8 years, they're just, you know, calling me when they need something, and I just want to help them more. I want to do so much more, but I used to piece out everything. Okay, I'll sell you a performance management program for this much, and I'll sell you an employment contract for this much, you know, and that's what a lot of us consultants do.
I can so relate to that, Teresa, because like that's my accounting firm. Like when I was still running the virtual audit firm, I would literally, like, my one rule was I won't even consider taking you on as a client if we don't have a meeting where I can do a proper needs analysis and I can give you an action plan. Because in that action plan is literally everything that I've identified that you need. And I tell them straight up, look, you don't have to get this from me, but I need to know that upfront, you know, you need this and this and this and this and this, and then everything will be fine. I'm happy to do just this part, but then you need to get someone else, and you need to tell me who you're getting to do that part. Like, I'm even willing to help them to do that part. But it's like, it's about a complete solution, right? Because what's important from your point of view is that you provide the value. You need to know that when someone comes to you for an HR solution, they turn around and they're like, wow, my employee force went from absolutely not working 8 hours a day to now they sit and work until 16 hours a day. Like, they can't get enough of it. They just love their jobs. They're so involved. They support me 24/7. I never have too much to ask. You want them to feel that difference. So I so get what you're saying. I'm so in love with you right now. I can't help myself.
I'm in love with you guys too. Kisses to you also.
I would really like to call this your mission statement, because it's what I keep hearing, is that what I think your mission statement is teaching companies to be proactive within the within the HR environment, because that's the key that everybody's missing at the moment.
She's giving them the whole solution.
The whole solution.
The whole solution. I'm teaching them, and I'm also giving them the knowledge and the confidence.
I like that.
It's super important. You know, a lot of people, what happens is they, you know, I have clients who've called the local employment legislation officers to ask them questions, and they come away confused. Some of them call back 3 times and get different answers from each officer. And the true part about that is because you don't know how to deduct the information that you're receiving. So if you get those tools, after you speak to someone who is, you know, giving you the information that's written in black and white in a law, what do you do with that? How do you assess the risk? And what decision do you want to make from there? I mean, even lawyers will give you information, but there's always still a risk factor involved because, as you said, humans are unpredictable. In all the 22 years that I've been doing this, I still get surprised with some of the things that come up. I go, oh my gosh, this is a thing, right? Like I did not see that one coming, but it's teaching them how, when you didn't see that thing coming, how to disseminate what to do with that when it comes to you. And it really, that's where the confidence piece needs to come in. So once they start feeling comfortable about how to assess it, then I can set them off. I can set them free. I can say, you can do this now. And if they still aren't fully confident, they have me in the weekly Q&A calls and in the group community where I'm always active in. So they still have that support if they need it, but a lot of the times they will be able to just learn it on their own, do it on their own.
I think now that most people are pushing to be online, whereas they used to be face-to-face or have like an internal department, or now an HR department doesn't have to be on your premises. It doesn't have to be, your access to HR is not limited. And
that's right.
And Teresa, your solution is complete. So
and innovative.
Definitely innovative.
Like, I need to do this course. I have so many questions right now, Teresa. And I'm enjoying this chat so much. I think we've uncovered so much, but I want to give the rest of the tribe also a chance to get involved.
Yes. Yeah, I want them to be involved too. I love them all.
Because we are getting to our last 20 minutes. So I'm going to ask them to hop on board and become part of the conversation. And guys, if you ever wanted to know anything about HR, if you're struggling to scale your business because you don't know how to find the people that's going to help you scale it, like, this is the woman to ask. And if you're a tribe member in the school right now, you have the ability to do so right now. So lucky you. So I think let's start with the one and only storyteller from the UK, shall we?
Hello, how did I know I was going to get picked first?
Because you're awesome, Stephen. That's why we always pick Stephen's first. Even Levy is literally going like, he's always the first pick.
Okay, so I've been thinking about the question and how to word my questions. I even considered potentially giving you a bit of a heads up for it, but then I decided no, it wouldn't be fair to Linda.
Should I be scared?
No. So
should I hide behind my hat?
He's our magic marketer, Teresa, so he has a way of asking you questions that brings out the best in you. So it's fine, don't worry. This is a good thing.
Oh, Linda, I love that t-shirt. Look on the right side.
Woo, I love it.
Okay, so the question for you, Teresa, is think back to that very first client that you had. What was it about the service you provided that client that made you think, I'm onto something here. This is what I should have been doing all along?
Okay, well, with the very first client that I had, that is a good question. I honestly don't know if at that time I thought this is what I should have been doing all along, because I was kind of stumbling my way through my offering with them. So we were both kind of like, okay, well, the first thing I ever started off with my very first client was a performance management program. And I knew exactly what to give them, but I was nervous. I was scared that if I provide this, what if they ask me a question that I don't know the answer to? Or what if they want more and I don't know where to find more? Like in the beginning, I was nervous. And at that time, I had probably 12 or 13 years of HR experience under my belt. And I had been or maybe longer, I'm not quite sure. I'd been a leader in corporate organizations, but I was nervous. So I think when you're in the mindset that you still have to continually improve, you think to yourself, can I still do this for other clients also? And can I still grow? Am I answering your question?
You are answering the question.
I didn't know for sure if this was what I thought, oh, this is what I should be doing all along. But now this program, 8 years later, and I just started building this program in October, beginning of October, or maybe the end of September. I can't remember exactly, not very long ago. I don't even think it's been 2 months. And I already started it. I already got clients. So in this one, I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I ever think of this before? The minute that first client signed up, or actually when I was doing my research and people were saying, yeah, if I had a program like that, I'd be all over it. And I'm like, what? And now in hindsight, I think, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. Like, how was I so deep into into serving clients on one-to-one? Like now I can broaden my reach and help so many more people. Why didn't I think of that before? Yeah.
I was just going to say that is amazing. Like, when something clicks, when you get that brainwave. So you mentioned that you've already had clients for this. Could you share a little of their story, how that came about?
Sure. Yeah. So I have an email distribution list, and I just reached out to everybody and asked them if I could ask them a few questions to make sure that what I'm doing, there's a need for it. And what I offer is what they want. Because I can think in my head, oh, I think I know what everybody wants. But until I actually ask people, I might have to tweak that a little bit. So I put it out there, and some previous individuals who either they've been following me for a while, they've taken some of my in-person, my live workshops, or they've been previous clients of mine. Those are the ones that connected with me right away and answered my questions. And they were the ones who wanted to sign up. So I think I have a real challenge coming up, and Suman is probably going to help me with this in December. But this program that I started this week is a prototype. So we're learning together. I have it all set, but if there are things I need to tweak, I'll tweak it as I go. And once the program goes premium, I'm going to need, my reach is probably going to go to strangers. So I was very fortunate right now because these were individuals who were not strangers, right? They were people who have been following me, who have seen my work, who I've built a rapport with, who I have a relationship with. But in the future, I have to build relationships and gain trust. And I know just with my previous, like with the consulting piece, that takes a long time. It can take up to a year to really, the trust factor is huge in HR and probably in a lot of different offerings. But yeah, so that's going to be my next major challenge, is when I launch officially the Evergreen program.
Okay, so you've got some beta testers, you've got people that you're testing it on. It's always good to do your A/B testing. Even I have to do my research as well for when I'm marketing my products and services. And I work in marketing. I provide a function for marketing. So
Awesome.
how do you plan to provide that trust for your prospective clients, for people who you want to be on your course?
Well, there are a few things that I'm doing right now. This course that I am taking she's actually a YouTube sensation, the one who's helped me build this course. And I started Wonderful Wizard of HR on YouTube back in May. So she's had me pause that account until I'm ready to actually really focus on my ideal client and then provide information to them. So there'll be the YouTube account will be going live again soon. And I do provide lives once a week, and I provide useful content. It's not just me saying, hey, look at me, I'm the wonderful wizard of HR and I'm so awesome. It's not just like that.
I would watch that show. I would definitely watch that show.
Would you? Okay, well, maybe I'll just do lives and talk about how awesome I am.
So the reason why I'm asking these sorts of questions is you've already got people who are helping you to develop your course, who are learning from your course.
Yes, and they have all agreed. So after module 1, I had them complete an exercise and I asked them if they would be interested in providing testimonials at the end of the course, and they said yes. So definitely social proof will be key. Yes, yes, but I will take any suggestions anybody has. Stephen, if you have, I'm always looking for the best way. I just had a call with somebody that I used to be on a member advisory council with, and I just called them and said, we have the same kind of people that we reach out to. How do you do it? I think that's important just to, and he was so awesome. He talked to me for like an hour and a half because I really needed to understand, but he really helped me out, right? And I think that that's the same with like this tribe. How amazing is it we have each other to, bounce ideas off of and share, and yeah. Heart. I love the heart. Nice emoji.
It's a great emoji. I love this tribe as well. Like you said, it's good because even though we all have our own respective businesses, we all are in our own industries, we all have each other. And it's always good to get that outside perspective as well to help with certain issues. Like, for example, if I wanted to expand, I know that there would be a HR question that I would have. It would be, like you said, you would help the HR side of it. You'd also know how I could go about finding out the legal side of it for my area or my country, and the best way to do that. So I do love the service that you provide because it's more than just, well, you transcended just consulting now. You're putting together a holistic course, a holistic service, a holistic solution.
I love that.
For people. Love that. It's true. It is a holistic solution for people to learn exactly what HR is. It's not just recruitment. You're not a recruiter. You're so much more than a recruiter. You are human resources. Is there a way you think you could explain human resources using an analogy?
Yes. Human resources is like if you don't have a fully functioning engine in your car, if you're missing components, your car's not going to run. And you need the engine for your car to run. I believe human resources is the engine to an organization. And you have to find the right one. Because if you put the wrong engine in that car, it's not going anywhere, right? If you get the wrong employee in your business, you're going to have problems. You're going to, maybe it'll work for a little while, but then you're going to be puttering along the side of the road, hitchhiking. So I guess that would be an analogy.
Yeah.
If you get the right employee, though, Teresa, you can scale so fast. The sky's the limit.
No, but you could ruin it if you don't oil it, if you don't give it the proper fluids, if you don't give it the proper maintenance. You could ruin that great employee that you hired. So it doesn't just stop there. It's just like an engine.
And what I really like is that the proper maintenance is proactive maintenance, not
proactive maintenance. Yeah, because you know what happens. You know what happens if you don't take care of your wheels.
Yeah.
Your car.
Thank you so much, Stephen Westwood.
Great question.
In the HR wizard. I'm gonna stop you now because we need to give a try to some of the other tribe members, but that was amazing. And I love the engine analogy that you brought out. So thank you so much.
Me too. That was on the fly. Thank you for that. I just might use that.
It brings out the best in you. I told you. Okay.
Awesome.
Next up, please can we hear of one of our business coaches that also loves you because you basically did a whole advertising testimonial thing for business coaches. So this one is from the UK, but currently surviving in South Africa by coaching globally. And she teaches us how to pee with glee. And she has her glee jar that we're all fascinated with. And her name is Linda Dent. Linda, what do you have to ask of the HR wizard?
Thank you. So Teresa, that was wonderful listening to your stories. And I think stories and analogies are what it's all about. It really connects you to other people. So do that. Yeah, use that engine analogy.
Love it.
And yeah, thank you very much for the shout out to all business coaches, or in fact, all coaches around the world, because we all need them. We all need them. I had my own coaches. I'm sure Stephen did as well, and continue to ask for help where we're not strong. I had a couple of questions for you. The first one is about the assessment that one would do in HR for not only recruiting, but deciding on whether someone is suitable for a position. Have you used, or do you know people who've used strengths-based assessment, or rather than just the standard psychological assessments? Because it seems to me, I come from a banking background, 30 years in corporate, effectively working with teams, and I always felt there was something missing around that the psychometric tests, the tests that were done, and there were many sorts of tests, did not really accurately point out where you should place someone. Do you have a response to that question?
Absolutely. So this is what I've built over the past 20 plus years. Well, I've been using it for probably the past 10 years, is a recruitment strategy that really focuses on what you're talking about, that focuses on finding the right person and the right fit. There are certain things that you just can't, even with all the testing in the world, psychometric, any kind of behavioral tests, any kind of skills tests. The issue is that people are unpredictable. And what I have found is, there are a lot of companies who need to do certain testing. Like in the accounting world, you probably do want to see how they do. So I do believe in skills testing, but I have learned that you can do the best at finding somebody through just a really good recruitment strategy where a lot of the analysis and testing doesn't happen. Where your analysis and testing comes in is, first of all, screening the resumes, obviously, doing your pre-screening. Like there's a systematic step to every piece of recruitment. But when you get into that interview, the questions that you ask, I think what has happened a lot is that people ask questions to trick people, catch them off guard, see how they handle this in a pressure situation, which, in a lot of situations, you need to do that. If you're hiring an astronaut, you want to see how they do in a pressure situation. But I think that it's not as much about the trickery as it is about using the tried and true situational and behavioral type questions. And then the most important part that so many employers leave out because they think is a waste of time is reference checking. A lot of people think it's a waste of time because you can just get anybody. But I don't know if it's the same across the world. I'm assuming that it is. Yeah. But in Canada, you have a legal obligation to tell the truth as a reference checker or as a reference. So if you're not telling the truth, whether it's a good or a bad reference, you could be held liable in the future. So one of the things, and this is a trick that I usually only say for my clients, but I'm going to share it to the world now. One of the things that I do is I make sure in my reference checks that I ask them if they are aware that if they provide a bad reference and it's not true, they could be held liable. But if they provide a good reference and it's not true, they can be held liable. Wow. Do they understand? And if they say, I didn't know that, that is where a lot of the truth comes out. I have had rock stars through the entire process, and we get to the reference check and we've halted right then and there. And I've said to my clients, we can't hire this person. They have done this, this, and this, because they feel once you realize that you could be held accountable for what you're saying, you're gonna tell the truth, right? So that's I guess that might sound like trickery in a sense when it comes to references, but it really is. You need to find out who these individuals are. Now, I don't know if you have this in South Africa, but do you guys have an introductory or probationary period where you have like a period of time? Okay, so here we have where I am, we have a 3-month probationary period where if it's not a fit, you need to use that. You have to, first of all, when you hire somebody, you can't just put them at a desk or send them out on site and say, all right, see you later. You need to really be a part of their journey in the beginning, and you really need to learn how do they work? Are they exactly what I thought they were? The interview and the recruitment process doesn't end just at hiring somebody. You may think you found a rock star, but as you go on, you're going to find there's these little pieces. So I guess it's a really long-winded answer to your question, but at the end of the day, these testings, sure, they can help to a certain extent, but they really do have their limitations. It's really seeing the human, seeing the person, and evaluating them in your process. And there is a true process to it. Yeah. If you skip a step,
do this. Of course, that was a magical solution. Thank you. Thank you. I had 2 questions, but you answered them both in one because the interview process was the other side of it.
2 ones.
So I put it in the chat box. You might not have seen it, but like, we're off to see the wonderful wizard of HR.
And
the wizard of Wiz. If ever a Wiz
I have
there
this
was,
too.
The wizard of HR is one because of the wonderful things she does. Look at that.
And I'm going to start my Glee jar here.
Oh, I love it.
My sister
Awesome.
gave me this for travel. I was supposed to put money
Yeah.
in it, but I'm going to start putting my
Little
affirmations in
pieces
there.
of paper in that. Brilliant.
So
Well done.
your little song is going to go in there.
Oh, guys, this is the power of tribe. I just love the two of you so much right now. Well done.
Okay.
Thanks,
Wonderful.
Linda.
On that note, thank you so much, Linda. You certainly brought out the best in Teresa. And I mean, like, that advice just, I was like hooked. I was like, tell me more. Where were these tricks before? But I can see Stephen Levy is dying to get into the conversation. I think he's really upset because I always pick him first for everything, and this time he was third. Stephen Levy from Dent to Be Coaching, guys. Stephen, what do you ask? What do you want to ask from the HR wizard?
Before I ask the HR wizard, I am so happy you didn't ask me first.
No.
So we went from Stephen squared to Stephen to the power of 1. And then I think you answered quite a few of the questions that I had for you, but something that stood out for me, which I really enjoyed, and I don't know if you want to elaborate on it a bit, is also the offboarding. I love that.
Offboarding. Sure, I can
Yeah,
elaborate
because
on that.
yeah, and do you feed back to your clients regarding the offboarding? Do you take them through an offboarding process? It's not just, sorry, you didn't fit in here or whatever the reason was.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So obviously, when it comes to offboarding, there's a few different components to that. There's the resignations, there's retirement, there's layoffs, temporary layoffs, and which is partially offboarding. And of course, then there's the dismissals that can happen. And with each one of those, there is definitely a process that you need to work through. For instance, when somebody is retiring, you want to have a phase out plan for them. You don't want to just, somebody say, hey, I'm retiring, and you say, oh, well, let's have a party. We'll give you a watch and see you later. Thanks for everything. It sounds personable, yeah. But it's really, there's some key components they're missing. Let's phase you out. Let's make sure this is what you want to do. Let's give you a few less hours so you can go out and start feeling what retirement feels like, because they think they want to retire, and then they get out there and they're like, oh my gosh, right? This is a huge shock to their system. So you want to do it gradually. You want to make them feel like everything that they put into, whether it was only your company for a couple of years and another company for another couple of years over a span of time, or if it was somebody who's been with you for 30 years, regardless, you need to really care for them and make sure that the transition makes them feel good, right? And then there's phasing in. So if they learn, oh my goodness, I can't do this, and you could kind of use them too. You might hire them back as a consultant, a strategist, maybe back as an employee, maybe a part-time, who knows, right? So you need a plan for that. When you're dismissing somebody, there's definitely a proper way to do that. The Donald Trump you're fired way is probably not the best way. There's a lot of legal implications there that can happen if you just do that and you don't have a plan in place. So there are a lot of processes to that. There's sensitivity, there's protecting yourself. When you get into a conversation where you're letting somebody go, you need to make sure that you have access to a door. A lot of people don't think of that. Some people can become very hostile, and you need to have a third party in there to help you. I've had people lunge at me, and luckily I'm a little bit tough, so it doesn't scare me. But I mean, you have to make sure that you're protected. There's so many different parts to offboarding that are really important. And the same goes with resignations as well. Do you let if somebody comes in with a resignation, do you keep them around? Could they harm the organization, or do you let them go immediately? What kind of policy do you have behind that? Yeah, offboarding is a thing. It's big.
Thank you, Teresa. I must say, I actually loved your conversation this afternoon. It's awesome because business is about people and about the right people. And I think they miss that a bit. And what you said is just taps right into that. But I wanted just one more thing on the offboarding. Do you have upon your process, because there's a lot the company can learn for areas of improvement from people they are offboarding, because that's probably, like they have employee engagement questionnaires, unless they're anonymous, one always questions whether they're honest or they're saying what their bosses want to hear. But in the offboarding process, can you get a lot of honesty, and are they happy to give feedback for areas of improvement? I'm talking about constructive feedback.
Yeah. So during the exit interview, there's definitely a technique for that as well, on just letting them know why. A lot of people, once they know why they're doing something, they're a lot more eager to help, right? If I sit down with somebody and say, hey, I'm going to have this exit interview with you, and the questions here are really going to help us improve. You're leaving for a reason, and we just want to make sure that we don't make the same mistake, if there was a mistake that we made, in the future for the rest of our employees. Are you willing to help me with that? And most people, the majority of people, say yes. Some people absolutely refuse to do an exit interview, and that's just the way that it goes. You can't force them. I do believe that you don't send it out as a survey. It has to be person to person. It has to be personal. They have to feel like they're that what they say means something, and that something is going to be done about it for others. You can't always change everything. If somebody says, well, I think I should have been paid $50 an hour and I'm only getting paid $5 an hour. There's some things you can't change, but I get a lot of great feedback there. Yeah. And I think that if anybody is going to do that they definitely have to be ready to make the change. If you're going to get the feedback and then you're just going to file it away, there's no point in even doing it. Yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I believe that's, for you, you're a business coach, right, Stephen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even for your
teams, Teresa, like I was actually just thinking, like from a collaboration perspective, what the two of you could probably do together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so seriously, because Stephen coaches the owner, and he's like this, but Stephen can only work on input. So if you're like there, doing the input and this is what's wrong with the HR and this is what the people are saying, and like Stephen can work his magic on the coaching side, like right there.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And I was going to say, even when our clients are exiting out of an organization or out of our organization, for yourself, if you have a client who's leaving for whatever reason, exit interviews work for that too, right? To help us personally in all of our businesses.
Just correct me if I'm wrong, Teresa. I'm sorry, Stephen, but you asked the most brilliant question. I'm so thinking about everything right now. Just correct me if I'm wrong, Teresa. Is one of the objectives of the exit interview to make sure that, because the worst thing you can probably do in business is have a lot of incoming relationships that go wrong and get broken, right? Because that results in reputational damage, and just like it's just not a space you want to be. So it's one of the objectives of the exit interview to minimize the negative impact of that relationship, to kind of, wrap up the relationship that's being disconnected like properly, so that we go off on a good foot, so to speak, if possible. Or if not on a good foot, that the damage is minimized.
Yeah, that is definitely a byproduct of having an exit interview, for sure. And the thing is that if you're a good employer and you're taking all the steps and somebody is leaving, and I've seen this in a company that does really, really, really well. They are amazing. They do have all the components of HR, but they still have employee issues, right? Because again, people are human and you can't predict everything. But when they leave and you're having an exit interview, they already feel like they love the company and they're leaving for personal reasons most of the time. They have very low turnover and they leave because maybe it's too small of a company and they want to grow a little bit more and they can't do it within that company. Whatever reason they're leaving is a real valid reason. It's not hostile.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it does become a byproduct for sure. But if you're a company that really, needs some work, that's where there can be some hostility, and it may not, somebody leaving may be willing to do the exit interview, but they see a bigger picture.
So for a company that is battling in that area, their employees are one of their biggest assets into fixing what's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And sometimes they just they miss the mark because they can't see it holistically, as Stephen Squared said.
But I think
now when you come in.
Yeah.
I think, Teresa, that employee, and I think Stephen just put it in the chat box, that employee interview they need to see as a positive. The exit, interview can be a positive, depending obviously why they're exiting. But as you said, not everybody is going to answer it, but it's their choice. Mm-hmm. But it's just highlighting what you said. It's the same whether it's an exit interview or an engagement or onboarding interview or an current employee engagement interview. Whatever feedback they get in any part of the business, they need to act on it, because if they don't, then they're going to shut everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
And people aren't going to speak. So, yeah, this we could talk for hours. We're going to see each other.
We already over. I feel so guilty, but this is so important.
Sorry.
We're chatting on Monday, so I'm gonna keep quiet now. And I'm really excited after hearing you now. Sure, I love you even more.
Amazing.
No,
Thank
really,
you so much,
it was
Stephen.
fantastic, and just all the best for you, because what you're doing is it's what every single organization needs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can't stop smiling. My cheeks are hurting.
Yeah. No, just keep doing it. Even the ones that don't think they need it are the ones that need you more.
Thanks, Stephen. See you Monday.
Thank you, Stephen. You just asked the most amazing questions, and that's what makes you such an amazing coach. Like, it's just incredible.
Let's quick, short and sweet. Let's just
Yeah. So we have our last but not least tribe member that's also dying to get in on the convo, Dawid from Entrepreneur's Live Show. Dawid, what do you have to ask from the HR wizard? This is your spotlight, my friend.
Hi, Teresa. First,
hi, Dawid.
Thank you. Hi. First, I want to say thank you for what you're sharing. Sitting and listening to what you were saying and how management and business owners normally do things the wrong way, I actually picked up where I've made mistakes over the last couple of months. I want to use this example. I brought in a specific manager to head up my sales team, and knowing the person, I thought, let's skip the whole process of looking into their history. And that was a big mistake. It cost me 3 months of a person not working and not capable of handling it. And at the end of the day, I had to go through the process of paying this person for not doing a job. So I want to say thank you for sharing that. I think that's a valuable point to put out there. And then, just to say thank you. I really don't have a question for you. Between the questions so I just want to say thank you for that. It's been quite amazing. And I'm looking forward to talking more to you soon.
You're welcome, Dawid. Just one little tip is if you get a referral from somebody that you know and that you trust, I would still go through the process because if they have a connection with that person, you might not. And if they feel that they'll fit in your culture, but they don't really know your culture, you have to make sure that they'll fit in your culture. So I'd still go through that process, even with a referral.
Thank you for that. That's definitely valuable advice.
You're welcome.
So much for it. And I know your
Goodness.
interview with the HR wizard is also coming up, right? So that's where we get more info about the behind the scenes.
That's going to be fantastic.
Who is the wizard behind the HR hat? I can't wait to see that. I'll pop that link for you guys in the comments as well as soon as we got it. Exactly. For now, I know Stephen you also have a very, very awesome question, but please can I just be like a little bit selfish? Because technically you guys have all had your questions and I haven't, and I really have one that I think will make like such a big difference to my organization and even to David's maybe as well. So Teresa, we're in the process where we need to scale sales and we need to do so dramatically. So we're in the process of actually looking for salespeople and looking for salespeople that can function on a commission-only basis. Just because we've also been so badly burnt with, you know, hiring salespeople and then giving them like a basic, and then they sell one product, you're basically just paying them for nothing. Sorry. What is your take on that? How would you solve that? Like, where do we even start with this? Do you recommend the basic? Do you recommend commission only? Like, and where do you find those people? And what are we doing wrong? Like, I mean, a lot of stuff probably, but maybe your top 5 fixes for this situation would be
Okay. Yeah, first of all, my question for you, are you bringing them in as an independent contractor or are you bringing them in as a direct employee that you're paying?
We prefer independent contractor.
Okay. All right. So you don't, yeah. So with independent contractors, it's kind of interesting because now I am going with practices, Canadian practices. It sounds like we have a lot of similarities though. So what I can say is that when you bring in somebody as an independent contractor, they usually will have other clients that they're working for. So they may not always be working specifically for you. So key questions to be asking them is how much time will they have? If you give them a time, if you say, I need you to work 3 hours for me a day, and they say, oh yeah, I can do that, I can do that. The reason they're saying that is because they're giving you an answer that they want to please you.
Yeah.
But if you ask them, how much time can you realistically commit to helping us with this program? Then, and you have shown them exactly all of the products that you want to be sold, then they have more of an understanding of what it takes. So always make sure that they understand the process, and then give them a moment to really think that through. How much time can I spend? How much time can I give you? And you still, even though that they're going to be independent contractors, you still want to check their references. Now, let's back up a little bit. For the purposes of saving time and to finding the right individual, you always want to do a preliminary screening before you meet with the individual. Your preliminary screening are a bunch of deal breaker questions. So for you, it might be, you might want to see their numbers, the success that they've had. It might be their location. Where are you located? Can you legally work for me? Right? They're really think, and if you put together a list of deal breaker questions, just send them my way and I'll take a look at them and let you know if there's anything that I think maybe is missing.
That's
But
so amazing.
yeah, for sure. Those deal breaker questions are ones basically that you know for sure this person isn't going to fit the position, let alone the culture, right? Mm-hmm. So you can, that's a step in your screening process. And then when you get into the interview, that's when you've gotten to that part, you've already looked at the skills, you know what they have to offer, you've reviewed their resume, you see what their abilities are, you've had the pre-screening, they've passed all those deal breaker questions. Now in the interview, it's about culture. Are they going to fit in this culture? And they have to be like every one of us.
Yeah.
How you recruit for this community is exactly how you want to recruit your salesperson. If you have that mindset going
So
into it.
amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really helping me so much. It's like a mind shift.
Check their references too. Don't skip that step.
Yes, wizard. I will do so, wizard.
I'm sorry, I have to say, I love your thing about culture. It is the foundation of any business. And
It is.
well, you can have the best skills in the world. If you don't fit in the culture, it's going to take you backwards.
That's right. And truly, that's what the interview is.
Mm.
That really,
yeah.
when you sit down and you have an interview with somebody, that's when you're going to know for sure. It's kind of like with the speed networking. Nestene and Peter, you go into there and then you identify people who fit your tribe.
Yeah.
And you say, you know what? They're going to fit our culture. You can feel it because you just had the interview. It's the same thing with recruiting. You're doing a really good job. You already are an expert in recruiting when it comes to this, what we're a part of right now. You're doing a great job. Use those same tools when you're finding your salesperson, because they are going to reflect that in their sales.
I think that's amazing. Like, I'm actually thinking, like, we have entrepreneurs in the tribe, but freelancers are entrepreneurs too. Like, we should actually just like put it out there that this tribe needs more sales on.
Yes. Absolutely. If you've got people in your tribe, reach out to them first, because they already know, they've experienced it. The one thing that we do as coaches and consultants and the offerings that we have, the reason why we do so well in our offerings is because we have experienced it ourselves. I was that person who wasn't confident. I was that person who didn't have all the knowledge in HR, and I learned it. So now I've put it in a compact program to help people catapult past what I had to go through. That's what we all do here. And that's exactly when you're recruiting somebody, you've already experienced how to recruit people. They've already experienced the program. So they're going to be your biggest sales. Actually, every one of us are already part of your sales. The fact that you have an affiliate program, that's like a key to your sales strategy. Oh my gosh, I'm going off of HR now. but
no,
it's
I love it. I love it so much. It's so nice. Thank you so much for that. Like, I appreciate that. And I promise you, as soon as our next Global Online Speed Networking event sells out, I'm there. Like, I'm doing your course. Like, that is not even a question. I need to do this course. It's going to be life-changing. Like, no jokes.
Well, yeah, and I should put it out there to all the people who are global. I will need to, and Peter and Nestene, we talked about this offside, is I will need people to help me with the pricing side of things, because I know that dollars change in different countries, and I want to make sure that I'm doing it right if I'm going to go global.
So
that's what Stephen's for.
Stephen Levy's for.
Stephen Levy. Okay, well, we'll be talking Monday, so that's awesome.
So Stephen, we want to get on the course. We're really broke right now. Just joking.
So work your magic in the background.
No,
Well, just
keep so nice, Stephen. Like, coming up with the price of the product is the absolute best price point.
Yeah.
Super. Okay, so I'm going to say, Dawid, did you have a question? I think Stephen Westwood has a question, so I think maybe
I do.
we can do Dawid, and then we can do Stephen, and guys, then we have to let the wizard go. I know you don't want to, but she's already given us like an hour extra, basically.
I'm having so much fun. I love it. This is so great.
We are learning so much, Teresa.
Yeah.
Like, this is value personified. Do you know how live this is going to go on YouTube? like literally. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to know this, like a lot. But yeah, I'll keep quiet now. Dawid, ask your question.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Teresa, you were talking about now about people working on commissions and stuff. Now, my question I've got there is a person like yourself being in HR, when it comes to doing the process with an interview process, wouldn't it then be more advisable to have somebody like you handling the interviews, like an independent person handling it, so that there's no emotional or any form of a bondage between the different people, so that it can be a decision from a business side and not from an emotional side?
That might be, Dawid, that might be a subconscious block you're having. And the reason I say that is because it's a scary process.
I have
Right?
that block too.
Yeah, if you haven't, and I've seen it so many times where once again, it's the confidence. But there's no better person to bring into your business than you, because you know it inside and out, and you're going to attract what you emit. So if I come in and try, I do this for my clients, but my clients are right beside me when we're recruiting. You know, we're together in the interview because they need to feel that person. But how I've designed this course is so that you can do it on your own and you can feel confident doing it. The thing is that if they don't connect with you and they don't meet you, then and they meet you on day one, there's already a disconnect.
Cool.
They're feeling that separation before they've even started. You need to be like boots to the ground in everything and being a part of that full experience, employee experience. And when you get larger, when you start growing, you might not be that full experience, but somebody that you've brought along the way, one of your trusted right hands, will be part of that experience, and they will still have the same values, and they'll all be in the same culture, the same practices. They will be a reflection of what your business is. So hope that helps.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. No more subconscious blocks.
We'll talk again after your course. We'll see the difference, because right now, like when Dawid mentioned that, I was like, that's a brilliant idea. I don't need to do it. I'm so scared.
Well, and you're not alone. And that's why recruitment agencies do so well. Recruitment agencies do very well. I mean, here in Canada, they're charging 25% of a wage. If you have $100,000 job, that's $25,000 they make. And what they've done is they've gone in their database, they've chosen somebody, they've interviewed them, and then they still send them to you, and you still got to meet them, right? Whereas what if you did it on your own and you did the process? And you know what? There's wonderful VAs out there who can do the beginning process for you, like Somerville, who could screen the resumes for you, because screening resumes really is an administrative process. That's the part that you could I think that's the process that could be set out, is screening resumes and doing the pre-screen calls. But when you get down into the actual interviewing and the reference checking, you want to be a part of that for sure. And if you want to say, if you want to
feel confident in doing that. So
that's right.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I don't know what to do. Am I even making the right decision? Like, it's such a battle for me, like mentally actually going through it.
Yeah. And I think personally, I like going through the process of screening resumes because I know what I'm looking for. If I get somebody else to do it, they have to shadow me first and see what I'm looking for before I can just send them on their own. That's why the personal piece is so important. And you know what? One of the very best employees I've ever had was somebody who didn't have a very good resume. But I was like, I see something.
I feel like
I do not have a very good resume.
Yeah, you look at it and you go, oh, they may be missing something here. Yeah. So sometimes you going through the process of looking through the resume, you might see something that just Like I looked at the resume and I said, oh, there's something here. I just want to meet this person. And I met her, hired her, and best employee I ever had. You know, I've had amazing employees. Don't get me wrong. They all have been awesome, but she's definitely one that just, you know, really stood out. Yeah.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you for answering the question. And I'm sorry, Stephen, I forgot I wasn't allowed to speak. It's your turn. Please ask your question.
No, that's okay. My question's kind of been answered actually. So
Again.
Oh, wow. Because I talk too much.
no such thing.
Can you tell I'm a little bit passionate about this topic?
Absolutely.
It is wonderful to see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful. I think
It
we
is,
all
it's-
love it. Like
It
if you
is.
look at the people, like the tribe members on the screen right now, literally all of us are leaning into the screen. Like that's how we're like, we just want to like help us.
And I just want to help you.
Well, actually, you have. And,
A lot.
and the way that you have is you've put forward the fact that you've generated this course that is proactive and not reactive. And it's something that you can offer that we can actually step into and then learn to do it a different way. So not only are you wanting to help, but you are. So
Thank you.
Yay.
I love it.
Thank you.
That makes my day. I mean, if I do nothing else for the rest of the day, I'm good. I'm happy.
We're giving you the day off for that wonderful
Yeah.
Well,
presentation.
thank you.
So
Thank
take
you.
the day off.
Do we-
And it
do we
was
need
so
to
good
write you a
see
letter?
Graham.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I don't know if it's in my policies, but it's just about 6 a.m. I'm ready to start my day.
Oh, wow.
Okay, guys, Teresa, wow. Tribe members, wow. I love this tribe to the moon and back. Facebook friends, thank you for being here. If you're catching the recording on YouTube, thank you for watching, and we hope you had just got so much value, the same amount that we got from this, because this has been life-changing for me personally, and I can see the tribe feels the same way. So if you want to hook up with any of the tribe members, if you need some magic marketing, some incredible coaching, or some social media marketing and interviews, advertising in the Entrepreneur's Life magazine and on the show, or if you want to get into this incredible course that Teresa is offering us, all our links are on Facebook in the comments. I'll put them in the YouTube description down below as well. And then, help yourself. From our tribe to yours, have a fabulous, fabulous Friday further.
Go be proactive.
Thank you, everybody. You guys were just wonderful. I enjoyed the questions. I loved the interaction, and I just love this tribe. Thank you very much for inviting me here, and it has been a wonderful, wonderful experience.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And off to see the wizard.